Welcome to the Art Colony, a podcast about art and art history in Provincetown. My name is Gaston Lacombe. Picture it. You're in Provincetown. It's been a gorgeous summer day. Not too hot, not too humid, just right. This morning you started the day in nature by doing a dune tour, then spent a blissful afternoon roasting on the beach before going to tea at the boat slip for a few drinks with friends. After dinner, you attended one of Provincetown's famous and riotous drag shows, and now you're walking down Commercial Street, just soaking in the energy of this beautiful evening. In the distance, you hear the sound of a saxophone. And you think, well, that's just what I need right now to crown this perfect day, a bit of music to caress my soul. You follow that inviting sound, which leads you to a piano bar, where there on the saxophone, you find today's guest. And who is he? Well, everybody, welcome to the Art Colony podcast, Mike Flanagan.
Thank you so much.
Did you like our little journey down Commercial Street?
I loved it. I've been told that many times, actually.
Yeah?
That I, summoned the people in because they heard a saxophone in the distance and they followed it. And so that's a very perfect intro.
Well, good. So as you might be guessing, our listeners, that today we have a musician with us, Mike Flanagan. So tell our guests, who is Mike Flanagan?
Okay, Mike Flanagan is, I would say, equal parts musician, artist. I feel like some people are one or the other, and that's awesome. I feel like I'm a marriage of the two. I really feel like that. Let's see. Yeah, Provincetown resident, full-time since 2020. I am a gay man. I'm a dog dad, Italian-American, passionate about equal rights. I could go on and on and on.
Well, that's a lot.
Love languages. Yeah.
And where did you start off?
So I am from a city that's about 30 miles south of Boston called Brockton, Massachusetts. Moved into Boston for college. Lived in Boston for, I like to say, way too long. And then moved to New York City. And then moved here from New York City. So,
were you born in a musical family?
My grandfather was a musician. And he was a big influence on me in many ways. So my parents didn't play or anything. So, but I would say he is my, born into a musical family.
And is that what inspired you to pursue that professionally?
Partly. I had heard a woman play when I was about 15. And she would go on to become my musical hero and mentor. Her name was Yasko Kubota. She passed away in 2015. But the first time I heard her play, I think I was maybe 14 years old or so. And from the first few notes I heard her play, I was like, I want to make people feel the way that I'm feeling right now listening to her. And so that was the inspiration to really do this thing.
Do you mean by that you picked up your instruments at 14, or had you been already playing before then?
I had been playing. I started on saxophone when I was 10, and then I started learning piano from my grandfather when I was 14. And then when I heard her play, it just created this sort of self-motivation to become that. And that's what really took it the rest of the way.
Well, it's good. You know, not everybody gets an early inspiration like that.
Right.
Do you remember the first time you ever played in public and stood on stage and played music for others?
Yeah, I guess, playing in school, you get a lot of experience doing that. And then I would say when I was maybe 16 or 17, I started working, getting hired to do gigs. And so it kind of was a natural segue into that. So it didn't feel awkward at any point.
Which instruments do you play? I'm sure there's a bunch of them.
Well, professionally, saxophone and piano, just those two. And I play them both pretty equally in town, which I love. For the sake of education, for teaching people music, I technically teach flute, clarinet, trumpet, trombone. I can teach a little bit of electric bass. I can teach violin, percussion. But I would not play those on a gig or in a concert or anything.
That's extremely impressive. I would think somebody who plays, well, actually, no, because saxophone is a wind instrument.
Right.
So that links to the clarinet and the flute and all the others you mentioned. But then the violin, where does that come in?
I've been in and out of teaching my whole career.
Uh-huh.
And so you never know what you're going to be asked to teach, musically speaking. So,
well, that's quite a talent to be able to pick up any of these instruments and just be good enough to teach them at least.
Thank you.
And this is what you studied, I imagine.
Yeah, I did major in music education at Berklee, even though at the time I wasn't looking to become a teacher. I was just looking to play as much as possible. And but I just remember everyone who was super serious about, becoming a professional musician, we all kind of decided like, well, if we're going to pay for a degree, let's pay for a degree that we can use versus like a performance degree per se, right? Like, so we majored in music education, which might sound bad, but but it was, at the time, it was, it's a good thing I did, because there have been moments where that's all there is, you know what I mean, is the teaching piece. So it's just a reality, it's just part of the
Well, it's
process.
good to have more than one egg in your basket,
Yes.
And where have you been teaching?
I taught in Boston for a long time. And then when I moved to New York, I got my master's at NYU. And I was teaching as an adjunct professor there while I was getting my master's. And that was awesome. I loved that. I do teach 2 days a week here in town. I teach a band at the school, and I teach a keyboard lab at the school. And I also co-teach Italian at the school, which is very fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be a guest for any of our little talents and any of our shows, because you fit all of them. That's amazing.
Thank you.
And yeah, I worked at the school for a little while also, and that's a tough job.
Yeah.
Because they are from K to 8, so that they're young. It's a tough job.
Yeah.
And how does that go for you?
I only teach the middle school. I mean, for me, the older the better. And so, but when I was in Boston, I was teaching middle and high school. So you kind of find your stride, and you find a way to be yourself and do it in a way that's, respectful of them, and do the job with integrity. And then they end up really liking you. And so I have a good relationship with the students, even when they're having off days or whatever it might be. So, yeah, I am not the person to do like a kindergarten music. I am not. I tend to run screaming in that situation. It's just not my bag.
Yeah, when I worked at the school, I was a substitute teacher. I did that for 1 year, and then I said, "Oh, thank you so much. I won't be seeing you next year," because all of a sudden they'd put me in kindergarten. Like in the past, I have been a high school teacher, and that I could do, but here they have only up to middle school.
Right.
So I found it very challenging. But yeah, at that age, they're very energetic, very active. How do you get them to sit down, pay attention, and work?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to, like, that's why I kind of make sure that I'm just teaching the middle school portion, because they have a little more ability to do that. It's not like tricking them into playing a game that's also tricking them into learning something about music. It's more like, follow this direction, and then they do.
So how did you get to Provincetown?
My first time, let me see. I visited, my aunt brought me here once. I think I was like 19. I was not out yet. I came out when I was 21. And then I think that summer, I think I came to Bear Week. Bear Week was like my introduction, and it's one of those, Provincetown stories when you're young, where it's like, I planned to come for the day, and I stayed for the whole week, and it was an adventure, and it was very fun. And I don't think I've missed a Bear Week since. So that was really my intro.
Well, you live here, so
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even like prior to moving here full time, I think like this last year was like my 17th or 18th, I think.
So that was a while ago. What year did you first come?
I want to say it was like 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you get connected with the musical scene here?
Through Liza Lott. Do you know Liza?
One of our local drag performers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So Liza brought me down here in 2010 to play, I think it was like the annual fundraiser at the Crown. I forget which organization was for AIDS, though, I think. And so she brought me down. I played that event with her. And that following summer, we were asked to play at Way Downtown once a week. So I did that for 2010, 2011, 2012, just once a week with Liza. And then somewhere around 2012, Varla needed me to play for her in 2013. I forget. Gerald couldn't do it for some reason. I forget why.
Varla Jean Merman,
yes.
Who was a guest on the podcast, one of the very early shows. Jeff Roberson.
Yes.
Also known as Varla Jean Merman.
Yeah, I should say the Varla Jean Merman.
Yes, the Varla Jean Merman.
I was very honored and had a blast.
She's a colleague.
Yeah. No, I had a blast working with her that summer at the Art House. And then following that, I got introduced to Jack and Paul at Tin Pan Alley. And then I started playing Tin Pan in 2014. And that's kind of been my home ever since in terms of performing in the summer.
So how many days a week do you play then?
This season, kind of deciding. I feel like at this stage of the game, we kind of negotiate with ourselves. Like, how many nights a week do I want to do? Do I want to just like go for it, or do I want to give myself 1 or 2 days off, kind of thing? But my schedule for this upcoming season is going to be Wednesdays and Sundays at Tin Pan, which I do year round, and then Monday, Friday, Saturday at Post Office Café. So those are my, weekly residencies.
That's 5 nights.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then as of now, I will have Thursdays off, I believe. Tuesdays I play in Wellfleet at the Wicked Oyster. I'm actually playing there tonight. So as of now, that's kind of my weekly
we're
schedule.
recording on a Tuesday.
Right.
Because the podcast comes out on a Monday, but we're recording right now on a Tuesday. So when you're playing these evenings, do you decide, or does the venue decide if you're doing piano or saxophone that night?
I'm very lucky. I decide. So I'm the the entertainment director, booking manager of those 2 venues of Tin Pan and Post Office. And they put a lot of trust in me, which I really love and appreciate. And so I get to kind of curate what I want the night to be and then decide which instrument I want to play. So for example, on Sundays at Tin Pan, we call it Sunday Swing. It's a jazz night. And so I'm on sax, Chris Grasso's on piano, and we use a bassist most of the time named Marshall Wood on bass. And so that's every Sunday, and that has been going on for like 5 years now, which has been awesome. But then on Wednesdays, I play piano at Tin Pan, and on guitar I have Keb Hutchings, who is a 23-year-old virtuoso on guitar, and a drummer who I love to the moon. His name's Christian McCarthy. And we do a lot more. We call it experimental Wednesdays. We do a lot of like R&B and pop, and we create hybrids of different genres, and we start a song somewhere, we take it somewhere else by the end of it, and so it's a completely different night than what Sundays are. And so I've loved being able to create those nights at both venues as I decide to. So.
And where do you find all these talents?
Fortunately, Chris Grasso lives here. Marshall Wood lives close to Boston. Christian and Keb both live about an hour away on the Cape. So I'm very lucky because I get to play with them pretty much every week, all year. And every week that we play together, I'm always inspired. It's never like, oh, I don't want to go to work. It's always like, I cannot wait to play with these guys tonight. And I cannot wait to see where we end up in the music. It's always motivating. So,
welcome back. Just a reminder to follow us on Instagram at The Art Colony Podcast. And also, if you want to help us out and support the podcast, you can do so by going to buymeacoffee.com, do a search for The Art Colony Podcast, and you can leave us a little tip to help support our work here. And thank you very much for all of those who have already supported us. So, Mike, the piano bar, that's a whole scene where all sorts of things can happen. You're working with people who are on vacation, people who are often drunk, it's late at night. So how do you handle it? How do you get in that space of mind to go into that space, which is pretty boisterous?
Specifically with those 2 nights I mentioned at Tin Pan, like we are so clear on what we're doing musically, like what the vision is, that it really tends to pull people in. And then once you have them, then they're there and they're on the ride with you. And like Sunday, it is a piano bar, and sometimes a piano bar can, like you said, it can just be like a circus, right? Like I think that's the lyric in Piano Man. But on Sunday, we had a silent room, and they were just like hanging on to every note. And so I also love that aspect of it. Like, I'm gonna kind of command the attention of the room to sort of give them an experience. I think, that's something I really value about the autonomy I have at Tin Pan and at Post Office. And then where I do the booking, there are a lot of nights where people want to sing along. They want to wave a drink and whatever. And they should do that too. It offers variety in that way. So
that's one thing I've always wondered, because in my experience, whenever I've been to a piano bar, whether Tin Pan or the old Wave Bar or Post Office Cafe, it seems like nobody's listening. It seems like everybody's having their dinner and screaming at each other and talking loud. And I always think, how do the musicians feel? I mean, do they feel like they're not being listened to? I mean, what do you say?
I mean, some nights are rough for sure. Sometimes you just sort of give in to that. You're like, well, we're not going to win this one, so we're just going to play background music and let it be what it is, and that's fine. I'm doing a dinner set on Fridays and Saturdays at Post Office Cafe, also playing sax on that, and that's kind of a mixed bag. Like sometimes people really just want to talk over us, and that's fine. I mean, it's a totally instrumental set. There's no vocals, so it doesn't really clash as much, I guess, if you will. But then, we did this whole moment last Saturday where we did a half hour of just TV theme songs, which was really fun. And then the audience was like, wait a minute. And they, jumped in with us and they were with us the rest of the time. So, yeah. So it's give and take, I guess.
Do you sing as well?
I don't. I mean, if I'm feeling brave, I'll throw in a little harmony every once in a while, but I really try not to. I have like a 6-note range and it's just not. It doesn't go over well. So,
well, I guess that's when you're at the piano, because if you're at the saxophone, you can't sing at the same time.
Right.
Do you have any memorable stories of nights at the piano bar?
Yes. Okay. So I was at Tin Pan and Mitko was bartending. We love Mitko. Do you know Mitko?
I don't think so.
Bulgarian. He's hilarious. And he's been in P-Town for a long time. And there were 3 women at the bar. And so he kind of put them up to a joke. So one of them came up to me and handed me a napkin, and there was something, I don't know, I don't want to get too explicit, but it was basically like saying what they wanted me to do to the 3 of them, and it was like sealed with like a lipstick kiss and everything. And I read it and my jaw just like hit the ground because they were sitting at the bar, and I looked at the piano player and I was like, oh man, I have to get out of here. So like, like after the gig, like I just have to like, you know what I mean? And anyway, Mitko had put them up to it, fortunately. And it was, we still laugh about it or whatever. I can't remember what was it written. I think I took a picture of the napkin and I posted it on social media. So I'm sure I could find it, but it was something really like, you'd probably never expect a straight woman to say that to you. Or I guess, I don't know. It's just not a normal thing to say to somebody else. But anyway, yeah. So
any other stories?
I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, some that just make me happy is like someone came in once and they didn't tip us with money, but they paid for our dinner on the break and they threw a blunt in the tip jar. And I was like, I love this. This is very kind. Like I don't partake, but my guitar player does. So he took it home and you know what I mean? So all kinds of stuff like that.
Do you take requests?
We do, especially on Wednesdays. Like we kind of like for them to give us something, and then we will just totally either transform it or add some section that we really stretch out on and create a groove on and just go off kind of thing. So
is there one song that gets requested and it makes your eyes spin?
There are a lot. I don't know if I should say this, but I really don't like the song Moon Dance.
Oh, I wouldn't even know what that is.
It's Van Morrison.
Sing it, Mike.
No. You know it if you heard it, but
okay.
Please don't tell us to play that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people ask for Piano Man, but Piano Man like doesn't really work unless you have a singer. I mean, we've done it. Trust me, we've done it instrumentally, and it's fine. But then they're like, "Come on, sing it." It's like, okay, this is a trap that I walked into.
But you work with singers too, because I've seen you advertise many times with Lisa
Bello.
Mm-hmm. You've had multiple shows with singers as well.
Yes, that was a big part of like 2021, 22, 23, 24. Last season, I kind of shifted more towards. I guess Cherie was still here. So I was using Cherie Marcel, who's a dear friend who I've known for years. She was doing every Wednesday with us. She also did for, like I said, like 4 years at Post Office Cabaret. We did artist tribute shows. So in 2021, we did a Whitney Houston show. 22, we did an Adele show. 23, we did a Pink show that was really fun, the music of Pink. 24, we did like Cherie's story. It was like her own kind of cabaret show and told her story. And then I think for Women's Week, we did like a Carole King show. So all these were done with Cherie at Post Office Cabaret. And, we produced those shows together. And so Cherie was coming down weekly, during all those years, but she actually got like discovered at Tin Pan, which is really incredible. And so she's on tour now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's doing the Hell's Kitchen tour with Alicia Keys, or it's Alicia Keys' musical, but
Okay.
so she left in September and she's gone for a year. So it's awesome. It's a very like sort of what everybody kind of dreams of, and you don't hear about it often anymore, I would say. But it happened in Provincetown. It happened at Tin Pan. So
Yeah, you never know who's going to be at a bar in Provincetown.
that's right.
Because we have people from all different sets coming here. I mean, we have actors, Hollywood producers. We probably have people from the musical business too that I wouldn't know.
Right.
But yeah, has that happened that you've met people that you have admired, people that you look up to?
Absolutely. Michelle Indigiocello
Mm-hmm.
spends most Augusts here. She's here for like 3 weeks every August. And I saw her at Grab and Go, and I was like, I don't want to bother you, but I really love you. I was like, how long are you in town? She's like, oh, I come each summer. I just hang out and hide. I was like, okay, I'll let you hide. Yeah, I love that about
You should have a
Town.
set with her.
Oh, I wish. I wish. I mean, that's kind of what Town Hall is creating, doing Town Hall the last 2 seasons and this summer as well. That kind of becomes my opportunity to do that. And that's been really cool.
So tell us more about your town hall shows.
You mentioned Lisa. So Lisa and I have been a dynamic duo since 2011. Almost all of my original music is with her, and all my albums, or not all of them, but I would say we've released 4 albums together. So after years of working with Lisa, when the club was open, the club that was owned by Leah Delaria and Frank Christopher,
which is now 193
Ocean
Ocean
yeah.
193, the
Exactly.
restaurant. Yeah.
So when the club was open, Lisa and I were doing Monday nights with Christian and Kev, the guys from Wednesdays at Tin Pan, and it was we loved every second of it. It was like a dream gig. But we were doing that. We were doing the artist tribute shows with Cherie, still doing the Sunday jazz thing at Tin Pan, like all these different genres and all these different bands, essentially formations with various singers. And I was like, I'm having a blast running up and down Commercial Street all summer doing this, but let's try to do one massive blowout of a music show. And so that's what Town Hall became. It was like a culmination of all these years in Provincetown working with all these people. And so, yeah, the first one was 2 years ago. And I just called it like, Mike Flanagan's Town Hall debut during Bear Week, because Bear Week again was my introduction to town, basically. So, and then last year I decided to give it a name. So now it's called Bear Hug. It's definitely like my pride and joy, and I'm psyched to do it again this year. And I hope everyone listening come to the show.
So do you know already who'll be on the stage with you for this year's show?
Yes. So Lisa Bello, I tend to close with Lisa because Lisa is like such high energy. Like by that point in the show, it's like people are ready for a party, and that's what Lisa brings. An incredible vocalist who I just can't believe my ears every time she sings. Ines Nacera. So she is in London right now getting a master's in songwriting, but she was in New York for many years. She was Cynthia Erivo's background singer for a long time. But I mean, she like her resume, you just hear her sing one thing and you're just like, this person's an alien. Like, how is this possible? It's a total vocal masterclass. So she's coming back. Cherie will be on tour, so she won't be with us this summer at Town Hall. But Kaya Cristal is going to do a full set this summer. She did one song with us last year. She did the finale, but I'm going to have Kaya do a set. So Kaya and I also play Monday nights at Post Office Café together. And so we've had so much time working together and worked out so much. I'm excited to sort of present that with full band.
And she's a fantastic vocalist.
For sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Matt Alber, just love his voice, love his artistry, his songwriting. He'll do a full set, like a 3-song set kind of thing. We have a lot of special guests. I'm still formulating the show. Like I let the inspiration hit me as we go, especially as we get into the season. We're playing every week. Like if something happens at one of the gigs and I'm like, oh, we need to do this at Town Hall. And then I add it, and that's kind of the beauty of having Commercial Street as I like to call it my workshop, I guess, You try things out in front of live audiences, and when something just blows the roof off, you're like, okay, we're gonna do this at town hall, as song number 5 or whatever, So it's really fun to put it together that way.
So do you know the date already for your show this summer?
Yep, it's Thursday, July 16th, and tickets are on sale.
Oh, they are already?
They are.
Do you know the website?
Yeah, actually, if you go to my website, if you go to mikemrf.com, it'll take you right to the link.
mikemrf.com.
Exactly.
And look for tickets for Bear Hug.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So Mike, doing research for this episode, I went to your website and I looked at your CV.
Okay.
The About section.
Yes.
I was like, oh boy, there's so much here. First of all, Billboard-charting.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
The woman I referenced earlier in the show, Yasuko Kubota, who was like my mentor, musical hero, when she got diagnosed with cancer, I was like, okay, we have to go into the studio and we have to do, she had played on previous albums, but I was like, we have to do something that's like specifically for her. And so we did. And the album's called Yasuko Sensei. And the first single from that record, it was a cover of a Maroon 5 song called Makes Me Wonder. It's been a minute. Things Makes Me Wonder. But it charted on Billboard. And actually, it's funny. It's, genre can be a hard thing, but given the way that we did the song, it fit most into smooth jazz. I mean, I definitely do not consider myself a smooth jazz artist, but that's where this song fit. And so through its radio success, it ended up charting on Billboard, which was cool. And then, excuse me, my sophomore album, which was called Mob Music, but not mob as in violence, mob as in like flash mob kind of thing. It's a long story, but so that charted on Billboard Heat Seekers, which is like, if you don't know what that chart is, it means that like the album like just missed the actual Billboard Jazz Albums charts by I don't know how much, but not much. So we were like number 2 on Billboard Heat Seekers, and then there was another one too. I think Lisa's project that I was on with her also was on Billboard Heat Seekers. So,
well, the next thing I want some explanation about is you won a Lennon Award.
Yes.
First of all, explain what a Lennon Award is. I would assume it's linked to John Lennon.
It is, yes.
And tell us more about how that happened and what this brought you.
Yeah, the John Lennon Songwriting Competition. It's very cool. It's, I think I believe it's, I believe Yoko Ono started it. I believe I should, you can fact check me on that. But yeah, it's the John Lennon Songwriting Competition. And so that same sophomore album that, was on Billboard Heat Seekers, I entered, I think I entered like 4 or 5 songs from that into this competition. And so we ended up winning in the hip hop category.
Yeah, that's what I saw that. And I was like, well, I don't associate Mike with hip hop.
Well, yeah.
You won that category.
Yeah. I mean, we do sort of, I would say that's on the Wednesday thing at Tin Pin, we definitely go in that direction a lot, musically speaking. But I did feature a rapper on 2 songs on that album. And so anyway, yeah, we entered that, and I think we were in competition with ourselves. Like it was like another song of ours was selected, which was cool.
And this was in 2017.
Exactly. That's right.
I did my research.
Thank you.
I went through the Lennon Awards website until I found you.
Nice.
And did that bring you, did that open doors for you?
Well, so we won a home studio. And this was really cool because Lisa was my roommate in New York at the time. I was living in Brooklyn. I was going to get my master's at NYU. And we were like touring from New York when I wasn't in school, which was great. But anyway, we were writing another album, which I was using as my coursework at NYU. So yeah, we won speakers, we won a microphone, we won a guitar, we won like just this home studio. And so we were using that to write the next album, which was really awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome because these things are expensive. And yeah, you mentioned already quite a few times albums.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're up to 6 now.
You really did your research. I'm impressed.
Hey. So tell us about all these albums.
Yeah, so my first one came out in 2010, and it was called Elevator Music, and it was supposed to be like a play on words, if you will. I was young and hungry, and I was like, I'm not doing a genre. I'm just going to mix it all together. Everything I want it to be is going to be on it. And it got a lot of love locally speaking, but I had no idea how to, market a record or anything. And so, but when I listen to it, I'm always like, am I going to cringe when I hear this? But I'm like, okay, I'm proud of my 23-year-old self who was writing this or whatever. So yeah, Elevator Music was the first one. Mob Music was the second one. Then I put out Yasko Sensei, Mob Music 2. And later I combined those into one Mob Music album because that was a group with me, Lisa, and another singer, Justin Waith. That was the group of the three of us. And then after that, Lisa and I released a live album. And then the most recent one, I finally am now releasing music under my name, under Mike Flanagan. Whereas before it was my artist name. That is what my Instagram handle is, Mike MRF. But now it's under Mike Flanagan. And I'm, it's really me as a saxophonist. The Mike Flanagan releases are just me as a saxophonist. Whereas the previous ones are like me as everything, like songwriter, pianist, all of it.
On Spotify, I found the album with Lisa Bello. And
yes.
I listened to that album there multiple times.
Mm.
I gave you all these all these pennies.
Thank you. You know what's funny? I actually pulled my catalog off of Spotify. So Lisa released that one for us, but all the previous albums I mentioned, I took them down just like in protest.
Yeah.
But we don't have to get into that.
So where can people find your albums now?
I left them up on everything else. So they're on, they're on Apple, Tidal, YouTube. Yeah, if you search Mike MRF, you'll find all those previous albums. Okay. And then if you search Mike Flanagan, you'll find the newest one, which is called Many Rivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we use Tidal at home, so I can look there.
Great.
I have Spotify all set up at work.
Yeah.
I mean, I should change it, but
no,
it seems like so much work.
I get it. And trust me, like, I do think that they're comparatively, like, I have Tidal, and I know that Tidal has its problems too, but the algorithm of what they offer to you in terms of other music, it just doesn't compare. Like Spotify was always the best for that before they started incorporating so much AI music. But prior, it's like you discover so many artists that are really to your taste. Mm-hmm. Whereas Tidal, like, the next song that comes on, I'm like, what is this? Get out of here.
Okay, next thing I want you to explain from your CV.
Sure.
Over 1 million views on YouTube?
Yeah. So I released a music video in 2014 for an original song called Trying. And it's me acting in the music video. And it is about love lost. And the narrative is two bears. It's me and another bear, if you will. And at the time, there really was nothing else that existed like it. Like Matt Albert, whom I love and is with us at Town Hall, he had a music video around the same time called Handsome Man, I think. And that video was similar, except it showed like love forming, and mine was showing like love crumbling. And so a friend of mine who was living in New York was like, if you want, I'll send this out to a bunch of like LGBTQ bloggers. And I was like, sure. So he did. And I was like, we're going to release it on Sunday. But one of the bloggers leaked it on Friday. They like posted about it, shared the video. And next thing I know, everyone's sharing this, this blog article, and it's just like rapid fire. And I was like, oh my God, I have to make this video public. So I made it public, and it just got, it was like a leak release, if you will. And it was getting like, tens of thousands of views on YouTube. And at this point now it's has like 1.3 million, I guess. So
it's a lot. Yeah.
So I was psyched about that because it was, that's the only work of mine that's surpassed 1 million. So.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be more.
Fingers crossed.
So yeah, I mean, all of this to show that, as I said at the beginning, we just hear a saxophone on Commercial Street, and, you just think, well, there's another saxophone player at the bar, but you look behind the music and you find all these incredible achievements.
Thank you.
It's really impressive. So
just a quick story about that video, if there's time.
Oh yeah, there's time.
A quick story about that video is, so when it came out, I was teaching at a school in Boston, and I got an email from the principal, and she was like, hey, so the kids found your video, and can you come talk to me? And I was like, Oh man. Right. And there's nothing inappropriate or explicit happening. There's one kiss and it's very like, I just got home from work, peck kind of thing. There's no like making out or whatever. But I went into her office and I was expecting the worst. And she was like, so we got a lot of calls from parents and they actually took it as, this was 2014. So, you know, if things were even different than they are now. So she's like, you know, parents called in and they actually used it as a teachable moment to explain, you know, different families to the students. And I was like, oh, cool. And so it was met with appreciation versus like, you know, you're a pervert or whatever. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
So that was cool. That was like an unexpected surprise, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good old days of 2014. Okay, Mike, we're now in the last section of the podcast, so it's mandatory. We have to do the speed round.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. I'm going to give you two choices. You have to choose one, and you have to justify your choices.
Okay. I like choices.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, first one, do you prefer playing with a band or playing solo?
Band always.
Oh, yeah?
It's all about collaboration for me, you know, like I am very boring in terms of like substances, like except for coffee. Coffee's my addiction, if you will. But no drugs, no alcohol, no nothing. And so when I'm playing with a band and we're really locking in with each other, that is like the closest, I would say that's like the highest of highs for me. I just feel like I'm like floating, like, you know.
Mhm.
So always band.
I'm not a musician, but in a past life,
Mhm.
I lived in a country where the culture was very much based on song and dance. I lived in Latvia for many years.
Oh, wow.
And in Latvia, choir singing is the biggest thing you can imagine. I would sing in these choirs. And I guess the feeling you're describing is what I was feeling also in the choir when everybody is sounding together, when everybody's harmonizing together. You have this feeling where you're literally lifting off the ground.
Mhm.
Your brain is connecting differently because you have this synergy with everybody else around you.
Yes.
Well, I have some experience of
You
that.
get it.
Second question. So you have to choose just one.
Okay.
Musically, do you choose the 20th century or the 21st century?
20th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now you have to justify it.
I would say, given what I play the most, all of that is from the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 20th century didn't have AI music.
Seriously.
Yeah, I find in many ways that, we can identify like music from the 60s, music from the 70s,
Yeah.
music from the 80s.
Right.
Because there was much more, I feel there was much more originality back then. I might sound like an old geezer now. It was much better back then.
I'm typical like millennial, like 90s forever,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. So,
Next question. Video games or movies?
oh man, I have to say movies. I enjoyed playing video games, but when I got a saxophone, I stopped. So I stopped playing them at age 10, and then I've never played since. So, and as much as I appreciate them, and like I want to see the new Mortal Kombat movie that's coming out soon.
Yeah, a bit the same for me. Video games, I never jumped on them when I was young,
Mhm.
and now it seems like there's just too much to catch up on.
Right.
So yeah, I never really got to play Mario Kart. Next question. Eating out or eating in?
Eating out for sure, because I tend to eat the same thing all the time. In my aspiring bodybuilder state, I like always am eating the same thing. So any opportunity to eat out is like let's do it.
But with the schedule you have as a musician, that must be really hard to maintain like a regular healthy diet because you're probably on the go a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely curse going to the grocery store and meal prepping, but I do it typically twice a week. So yeah.
And when you're at the bar, do you just eat whatever they give you? Or?
I have eaten at Tin Pan Alley probably more than anyone ever, I would say. So, but no, we do get to order. So but I always get the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And last question.
Yes.
Well, that might not fit your diet, but last question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you choose pancakes or waffles?
I think I'm bi. I'm bi breakfast,
Yeah.
both. But I guess I would say maybe pancakes would be if I had to choose, I would say pancakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. You made a choice. You're firm. Okay. So before we let you go, Mike Flanagan,
Yes.
once again, let us know where people can find more information about you.
Yeah. I am very active on Instagram, I would say, and my website will always have sort of the bigger shows. But I post the local shows. The weekly schedule is always up on my social media on Instagram, Facebook.
And what's your handle on Instagram?
Same as the website, so it's Mike MRF.
Mike MRF.
Yeah.
And that's your website also, MikeMRF.com.
Exactly.
And remind us what you have going on this summer.
Wednesday, Sunday, Tin Pan Alley. Monday, Friday, Saturday, Post Office Café. That's the weekly schedule.
And Bear Hug is on?
Thursday, July 16th at Town Hall.
So don't miss it. When it's Bear Week, the town fills up with like 100,000 people.
Right.
So if you want to have a ticket to go see Mike and all his friends at Town Hall, you better jump on your computer right now.
Yes, please.
Well, Mike, this has been lovely. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. It's been awesome.
And I wish you a really great summer.
Thank you, you too.
And thank you all for joining us. Have a great day.